All right, as we continue this hour, I want to welcome back to the show our buddy Bill D'Agostino from the Media Research Center and newsbusters.org. You can follow him on X at band_Bill. Hey, Bill, great to have you with us. I just want to mention they are going live right now to the suspect who's making his court appearance right now. I don't know if he's going to say anything or not, but we're just going to keep an eye on that while we have you here.
Sure.
I assume you watched the press conference earlier with the prosecutor?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think almost everybody in our business probably was dropping what they were doing to grab that. Because I mean, if you were working on anything before that, after the press conference happened, it didn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This has been a very, very tough week for all of us. You and I have not spoken since. How are you doing personally? I mean, I know Charlie was your generation. I know that obviously he meant a lot to you. How are you doing with all this?
I mean, I think that attending a prayer vigil for him helped a lot. I was
Good.
I a lot more scattered anger and frustration beforehand. Although I was not expecting the prayer vigil in DC to turn into what it turned into. I thought we were going to be, getting closure and singing prayer songs. And when we showed up there, it was like a line around the building and then doubled back on itself 3 times. And we finally get in, and like Mike Johnson walks out onto the stage, and I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, "What? Like, what is this?"
Hmm.
And like it was very it was kind of spur of the moment that so many people, like big names, showed up. I think it was just the level of impact that Charlie had, and everybody wanted to get in on it and get to say their piece about how he affected them. So it was yeah, very very emotional, but really powerful and inspiring in a way.
I haven't played any of the whack jobs on TikTok and others who've been celebrating and rejoicing and all the other. I don't want to give these people a platform. I have been playing,
Yeah.
however, people in the media who've been saying disgraceful things. I've been playing elected officials who've been playing disgraceful things. In my mind, they're not civilians. I don't. It's not that I don't. I don't want to give those anonymous people a platform. But obviously, if you're in the media, if you're an elected official, if you're somebody in the public eye, and you're saying irresponsible things, well, we're definitely going to make it. We're going to make you known, and we're going to make sure people know
Right. I
what you're
mean,
saying.
if you've already got a platform, then yeah, we have to criticize you
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
no doubt about that. It's sad to think that I don't know if it's just people are just so dying to be famous, or if there's just such a callousness about life right now, or if really these people are just that deranged to be celebrating life, or if they just think this is just sort of some active shooter game or something. I don't know, but how quickly people were to try and go viral by celebrating this or rejoicing in it's very unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of an important wake up moment for a lot of people on the right who are realizing that even if you don't care about politics, politics cares about you. Charlie is was a fairly moderate guy, and in fact, I mean, he was certainly right wing, right? But if I ever had something critical to say of Charlie, and God help me, I wish I could take it back now, but it would generally be my criticism was that he was too soft when he was going around pushing various stances or whatever. That would only ever be the negative criticism that I had for him. And so in him, I see, you know, my immediate family. I talk a big game on X in my work that I do, whatever. I am an explicitly political person. If you want to criticize me, go after me. Sure, I'm making myself fair game. But my family, who is more moderate, certainly still right wing, but more moderate than me and much more aligns with Charlie. Uh, that's who I see in Charlie, and I think that that's a lot of people are having that experience right now. It's not just the left wants to punch Nazis. It's, oh, they mean we are all Nazis. They mean like us, like you, me.
They have been calling us these things for quite some time. They've been calling us fascists. They've been calling us Nazis. They've
Right.
been they've been they've been saying all these things about us. And yes, they've they've wanted to do things to hurt us. We know that, but I don't know. I guess part of me just never thought they would actually go this far. You know, maybe that was my naivete, or just maybe I just didn't want to acknowledge that. You know.
I wouldn't call it naivete. I mean, it's, you can't begrudge anybody for knowing what time it is and still being hopeful that humanity will prevail. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's kind of laid bare the how vicious and totalistic this ideology is. Because I think that the cause for a lot of the celebration among these people is that they thought that he was truly a monster. And yeah, some of that is because his quotes are being taken out of context, clips of him are being taken out of context, and they're being fed lies or at least massive distortions about Charlie. But a lot of it is also just their ideology is irreconcilable with what Charlie stood for. Like even the people who do fully grasp what Charlie's politics were, a lot of those people, I think, even still, if you hold those kind of politics, they see you as like, okay, then I can't share a country with you, and ideally you'd be eliminated. Like that's really how a lot of these people think. I'm reluctant to say it's even close to the plurality on the left, but it's a sizable enough amount that it's incredibly visible to everybody.
Yeah, it is incredibly visible to everybody, and they're reading the can we just dip into this though, guys, just so we can hear the judge reading the charges at the moment?
Of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or pursuant to any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, conceal or remove the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or a first-degree felony. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, with an intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count 5, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted, or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information, a document, or an item, to wit, directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. Count 6, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted, or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony or information, to wit, directing his roommate to stay silent if the police questioned the roommate. Count 7, violent offense
the judge
committed in the
reading the
presence of a
charges right
child,
now.
a Class A misdemeanor in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-3-203.10 sub 2 and 76-3-203.14 sub 3A little double I, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, committed criminal homicide in the physical presence of a child younger than 14 years of age, with knowledge that a child was present and that may have been seen or heard the commission of criminal of the criminal homicide, victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code Annotated 76-3-203.14 Sub 2, Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. That concludes reading the information. Mr. Robinson, this case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time. Is there anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, we'll have counsel appointed by then. Thank you.
Mr. Gurander, anything further?
One item, just for clarification, Your Honor, the hearing on the 29th, is that in person or WebEx?
Thank you. That is a great question. It will be via WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I want to thank all parties for being here, and this concludes this hearing at this time. Court is in recess.
All right.
Bill, we have the picture of the suspect on the screen as part of this hearing right now. Just lifeless eyes. I mean, like he's not even present. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't imagine what thoughts are going through his mind right now, but I suspect there's probably a fair amount of regret. I mean, the kid was what, 22 years old? It's
regret that he got caught for sure, because he was trying to go back for the weapon.
Yeah. I think that I hope at least that in the days that have ensued since he did this, at least since he was caught, that he's had some degree of realization about like the level of evil that he carried out. I mean, the speech by Charlie's wife, for example, hopefully struck some kind of nerve in him, seeing the response, etc. Look, if the best we're going to get from this animal is regret that he tactically made a mistake for the left, then okay, fine, I'll live with that. But I'd like some degree of actual guilt beyond that, like moral guilt. But who knows? I mean, you can never tell with somebody when they're capable of something like this.
One thing that struck me when the prosecutor was reading the text messages back and forth was the almost giddiness that he had at this, with the wink emojis and everything else, and just the absolute, the only thing he cared about was just going back and getting that rifle because that was the evidence. That was it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking to me how very fully he seemed to hope and believe that he actually could get away with this, like not get caught.
Right.
That's sort of remarkable to me, and it shows what a colossal coward he is, because generally when people, at least I have nothing to back this up. My sense of this is that generally when somebody does something this colossally public and evil, that they're hoping to go out as a martyr. But I think he genuinely thought that he could just slink away in the shadows and get away with this, which is like, I mean, it's appalling. Beyond everything else, he's an idiot, right? Like,
Yeah.
How could you think you were going to get away with this? So there
was one exchange where he says something to the effect of his roommate of, "I'm sorry, my love. I was hoping that we would keep this secret until we were old," or something to that effect, and then the truth would come out. Like he was not prepared to go out as a martyr. He wanted to keep this secret with him and his lover, and then, for the rest of his life. And then I guess at some point, let everybody know that he was the one who did it. I mean, it's just truly bizarre.
What a joke. Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah. And that also just, it reveals this kind of disgusting warped worldview that he has, where it's like, yeah, I can go out and kill, do a little political murder just to make myself feel better, and then go back to normal life, and it'll be no big deal as long as I don't get caught. It'll be fine. It nihilism. Right. I mean, like a complete lack of morality. And that's, I think, the crushing irony of this is that if you asked him, if you got the most honest answer you could out of him about why he did this, he would make moral appeals. Right. He thought he was doing the right thing doing this. That's I mean, look, the bad guys genuinely don't think of themselves as the bad guys, but I think that kind of underscores how dangerous this ideology that he imbibed is.
Yeah, well said. Bill D'Agostino's with us, Media Research Center. As we're watching history play out here, Newsbusters and Media Research Center, MRC. It's just, we are watching history play itself out. I'm happy they were able to get this guy so quickly. He'll be back in court September 29th. It seems like a pretty open and shut case, but of course, you never know how these things go. It's just, obviously, I'm glad it's Utah. I'm glad we're not dealing with some woke George Soros prosecutor. And I'm glad they have the death penalty, because if nothing else, they can leverage it. I mean, I hope they fry his ass, but I mean, if nothing else, they can probably leverage that. It'll also be interesting to see what the feds decide to do, if they decide to do anything.
It will. I mean, yeah, something that sticks out to me with the reading of those charges. I mean, they're really throwing every book at him that they possibly can.
Yeah.
Which I'm not familiar enough with how this kind of prosecution works. You know, I'm not a lawyer that I can try to divine what they're thinking, but it seems like they are earnestly seeking the death penalty. That's my layman's that's my layman's perception. This is not a negotiation thing, and so that's encouraging for sure.
Well, it's Utah, you know what I mean. They want to get their revenge for this, and rightfully so. I mean, that's the thing. I agree with you. It's not a negotiation, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with the roommate, the lover / roommate / person who was transitioning, because he was evasive today on whether or not there would be charges for them. I know, for him,
right.
I don't know if they're still investigating that, or if they're trying to hold something over his head, but you got, and then there's all the questions around all these people on this Discord. I didn't even know what the hell Discord was until 5 minutes ago.
Okay, well, that's important. I think that's maybe a big aspect of this story, a big outgrowth of this. What it will be is a lot of people kind of becoming aware of how this sort of thing works these days. I saw a lot of people blaming college for this kid. He dropped out after like a semester, right? So, no, I mean, not college. A lot of this happens online. People's minds usually immediately go to Reddit, or more recently Blue Sky, which there's certainly a lot of that. But yeah, it's Discord. It's Discord groups, and it's been Discord groups for a very long time. I mean, there's
what is it a Reddit for lefties? What is it exactly?
So it's Slack, essentially. It's non-work Slack, right? It's tailored towards gaming. I have a Discord account. When I was over COVID, when I would like play Counter-Strike or whatever else with my friends during lockdown, we would all hop into a Discord channel where we could all do voice chat together. And somebody can even like live stream they can screen share, basically live stream just to that little Discord server. And everybody can, watch the video at the same time. It's think of it as kind of like a combination of like a messaging board and like instant messenger. And so you can create these little private servers where the only way you can even get in is if you have a direct randomly generated link from that server. And so people create their own little groups in Discord all the time. I mean, again, I'm in like several with friends from college, friends from high school, et cetera. And so that's where a lot of this kind of radicalization happens. And the problem with that is that it's so decentralized. I suspect there are people at Discord who could, for example, employ some kind of scraping algorithm and like find, for keywords or whatever, and find chats where people are discovering or discussing various things. But the sheer volume of Discord servers that are out there is like, I mean, it's like as many as there are Twitter accounts, or X accounts, Facebook accounts, whatever. So it's not like it's something that's just open to everybody that you can police in the same way that just like a messaging board is, which makes the task of law enforcement significantly harder.
What's interesting, and I don't think any of us have the answer yet, but as technology evolves and AI continues to evolve and quantum computing and everything else, is it going to make it easier or much more difficult to find people who are saying these kind of things? My initial sense is initially it'll make it easier, and then AI will help people become even more underground than they already are in terms of this. So because everybody wants to find a solution, it's a natural human instinct to think, how can we police this? How can we, before we start going crazy with hate speech codes and the government watching everybody in Big Brother. I just think technology will probably find a way to help people go even further underground as platforms do more to try to elevate this discourse.
Well, I think the way I conceive of it is kind of like a Christmas tree shape, where it's like, very long horizontal. If the horizontal axis is like how public, how little privacy you have, and time is like vertical, then when new technology comes out, say the internet or these kind of apps, whatever, initially everything is very public, right? And as time goes on, it kind of tapers, and people create kind of new things within that technology that make you give you more privacy or security or whatever. And then there's kind of a paradigm shift or some new thing that everybody's using. And again, everything is initially very unsecure until people start, learning more privacy techniques, right? I mean, like we saw that with perfect example, social media, right? Initially, people were missing or losing job interviews, job offers, because potential employers were scrolling through their Facebook accounts and finding like all of these photos of them, smoking a bong or something or whatever, right? And so then people became kind of like social media savvy, where now basically everybody in Gen Z, most millennials, like if you find somebody's Facebook account, it's not going to show you anything. It's going to show you their profile picture, and then it's going to say add a friend. Everything else is private. That evolves over time, right? The aptitude for privacy evolves over time, and so the unique problem I think that Discord poses is that it is innately privacy oriented, and because it's so widespread among very internet savvy young people, gamers, etc., where a lot of this left-wing ideology exists, they're basically already using the technology that they can to be as private as they want about maybe radical political discussions or grooming kids or whatever else.
And by the time everybody catches up to it, they're on to the next thing. I mean, the president today, and I'm not criticizing him for this, because in my mind, I think we're past the point on this anyway. But he's extended the TikTok deadline to December 16th, I think. By the time that they figure out this TikTok thing, TikTok's going to be like Facebook. I mean, I don't know anybody in your generation that really uses Facebook, or maybe even younger than you. That's their grandmas on there with cats. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like by the time they figure out who's going to actually buy TikTok, that's going to be the thing that nobody uses anymore.
Right, because Aunt Mildred and Uncle Ted are going to be on TikTok at that point, and the kids
right. They'll be like,
"Oh,
Trump's made it so that we can be on TikTok now, honey. We created an account, and then that's that."
Exactly, and the kids are going to be using some app that maybe even exists now that we don't even know the name of because we're not young enough. Who knows? It's endlessly frustrating. I will say also just one last thing on Discord. A lot of the like grooming that happens. Schools, colleges, etc., media, all play a part, but a lot of the like interpersonal interactions that are direct like grooming of teenagers, that happens in Discord chats. There's
to clarify what you mean by grooming, so everybody understands that, if you could.
Indoctrination of kids who are maybe not comfortable in their own skin or whatever into believing that they're trans. That's really specifically what I'm talking about, and also a bit of sexual predation on top of that, at times, not always, but certainly also a common piece of that.
As a parent of an 11-year-old, it freaking scares the hell out of me, because you try your best to know what I think everybody does, to try to know what your kids are doing online, but to say it's the Wild West would be ridiculous, because the Wild West had a measure of justice to it. You know what I mean? Like there was always a sheriff who'd come out and just shoot a guy who was too drunk at a bar. But I mean, we don't even have that online right now. It's just complete chaos.
Yeah. No, it is. It's unadulterated chaos. And I think that the reason that a lot of people are like, younger people are kind of gravitating towards these apps, or various little communities, et cetera, is because the internet has become so explored. Like website internet, right? has become so much more corporatized, kind of settled. A lot of people are on there with their real names, et cetera. And so people get driven further underground, and that's where you get Discord.
Well, I have you. I wanted to share this. This is making the rounds. ABC's Matt Goodman. So as they were reading the text messages between the shooter and his gay trans boyfriend who is transitioning, I mean, this is you can't make this up. Let's take a listen to this. This is cut 42.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate who is transitioning calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner. So a very interesting and, as Pierre said, riveting press conference, David.
It was tough.
This is not some freaking Shakespearean tragedy here. I mean, I really, like, the way this guy describes this is just, it's friggin' creepy.
Right. No, it's disgusting. And it reveals this childish comic book perception of the world, right? Like, there are photos, you can find them, photos of Hitler with little kids, and they're all smiling, and he's smiling, and he's hugging them. There are photos of Hitler holding puppies, right? I mean, these were used as propaganda. I suspect that Hitler actually thought that the little kids were very cute, and he actually thought that the puppies were really cute. He probably liked the puppies, because no human is 100% completely evil, right? And so, yeah, of course, the guy that this shooter was in a relationship with, yeah, of course, him being in a relationship means he actually loved this dude. What does that add to the story, right? It's like, oh, it turns out, yes, he was a complete human being, right? Of course he was a human.
Yeah.
Right? It's idiotic. It's idiotic that Matt Gutman is wowed by the fact that this guy had the capacity to experience love. Every person who has committed every atrocity in history has had and expressed the capacity to feel love. That has no bearing on the atrocity that they committed. There's no duality there. That's just the nature of humanity.
I mean, Hitler had Eva Braun.
Yeah. No, precisely. Right. Yeah, exactly. I would love to see Matt Gutman go through Hitler's letters to Eva Braun and say, wow, I was surprised. It was actually very touching. It was very tender. Like, yeah, Matt, he did the Holocaust.
It's like, I shouldn't laugh, but at the same time, it's been such a tense week. Like, I'm clutching at straws just for anything that might give me a crack of a smile. You know what I mean? We've all been in, such a dark place since this happened.
Look, if that's how we're going to heal, is we're all going to point and laugh at Matt Gutman, I'm 110% on board, man.
I'm good with it.
Up, dude.
I'm good, and I'm about to laugh at Cory Booker for his antics today. Did you catch those?
I didn't. I retreated back into my hidey hole and started working on a video compilation for all of this. But
well, do you have a minute? Can we play the compilation that you made for us on 41?
Oh, sure. I thought you were going to play Booker.
No, this is a compilation I believe you made, right, in the last 24 hours of people insisting that they knew nothing about the shooter and the motive?
Yep. Yeah.
You want to give us a highlight of some of the geniuses we're going to see in this?
Yeah, Michelle Goldberg at the New York Times on MSNBC. Is it New York Magazine or New York Times? I always forget with all the different New York rags. Whatever, it doesn't matter. She lives in Manhattan, and she's an idiot. But she is like... I didn't include the whole clip of it in there because it was long, but she is trying to tell everybody that what was written on the bullet casings could mean anything, right? I mean, who knows what "hey fascist catch" means, right? We can't possibly know what that means, and also it's dangerous to try to figure out what that means. That's basically her stance.
What the hell does "hey fascist" on a bullet, "hey fascist catch" on a bullet mean anything other than "hey fascist catch"? There's no other thing it could possibly mean than that. Well,
you just haven't considered the other opportunities, Rich, and what you're doing right now is very dangerous.
Oh, this is what makes me annoyed. Is that you got to just detach your brain from any logical reasoning function. All right, cut 41.
It's not entirely clear at all what his specific motive was. We haven't heard it from him. But that is not stopping the political fight over what he believes.
There's a lot we don't know yet about this suspect and what his motive truly was.
We don't know very much about his ideology.
We don't know what the motive is yet.
There is no motive as of yet.
The initial reaction of so many people is to try to prove that this killer was a left-winger.
Candidly, there's been too much discussion from politicians getting ahead of this subject and speculating about left-wing ideologies and that sort of thing.
Many prominent right-wing voices blaming the political left for something that, frankly, the investigation is still very much in its early stages. There's a lot we don't know.
They took to social media very quickly, trying to ascribe motive and intent.
For the vice president to say he knows who did it and the motivation, I don't even think law enforcement has said that there was a specific motivation behind it. So this is really dangerous.
But of course, Donald Trump was always going to rush to judgment because this is what he wanted to do all along. He wanted a pretext to sick the entire Justice Department on his political enemies.
It's almost like they're more upset by the fact that we're assuming motive here than what actually even took place.
Oh, they are. I fully believe. Let them come after me, not you, Rich. But I fully believe that every single person in that video is more upset about the political ramifications than they are that Charlie Kirk was murdered. I mean, they are that level of cynical, calculating, purely political creatures at this point. Like that is the sum total of what matters to them.
Well, they can come after me too, because I don't disagree with you, my friend. Bill D'Agostino,
follow
Bill on X at @banned_Bill. And this was fun. This was a good chat, an important one to have under the circumstances, but we'll do it again next week for sure. I appreciate it, my man.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Rich.